The youth, really, they are more ready than we think that they are.
Now at 5, middle school students celebrating Martin Luther King Jr. Day with the Utah Jazz. How a coding workshop is following the teachings of the civil rights icon. Plus,
we would maintain that it simply keeps people alive.
A new bill aimed at allowing fentanyl test strips. Why some people say these will prevent opioid overdoses. And despite all the wet weather, Lake Powell still declining. New improvements to the dam that guarantees local communities will have access to water.
Live from Utah's first TV station, ABC4 News celebrates 75 years.
And good evening, I'm Emily Flores.
And I'm Glenn Mills. Thanks so much for joining us. We do begin tonight with weather. More storms making their way through the state. This is actually a live look at I-15 in Beaver County right now. Boy, you can see some dangerous driving conditions there with plenty of snow coming down in that area.
Yes, let's head over to Chief Meteorologist Alana Brophy to see just how the rest of this evening will look and really the rest of the week since we're just starting it off.
Yeah, that winter storm now impacting us. We've got that road snow and slush like you just saw in Beaver County that just started to accumulate, so really sloppy conditions. Let's get to the storm tracker radar. You can see the storm system has moisture pushing from south to north, and it does include a swath of moisture in northern Utah, but the southern portion of the state really dealing with a tremendous amount of wet weather. They're the moisture-rich environment. Okay, let's go ahead and take a quick live look so you know exactly what we're seeing out there because it hasn't stopped, and we've got several alerts. This is a live look at Bryce Canyon where the snow's coming down. So this is what I'm talking about when I say moisture rich, as we kind of get a good look here. Go back to the storm tracker radar, give you an idea of exactly where that moisture is. We saw a squall line kind of coming through earlier this afternoon, and that was in Iron County. So we definitely were dealing with conditions from rain transitioning over to snow with whiteout conditions as we take that closer look and zoom in central portion of the state there for you. But we get a little higher. We've got snow on the backside of the Wasatch and at times mixing in places like Utah County, Lehigh, tapping into that snow. Also watching that swath of moisture over the Ogden Valley towards Brigham City, over the lake right now, but pockets of rain hold steady in North Salt Lake County, and over into Tooele. Now, southern Utah, as I talked about, moisture rich. We definitely saw that line come through and transition a lot of this to snow on the eastern side of I-15. So our higher elevations definitely dealing with that. Beaver County, as I just told you, Milford down towards Enterprise and Cedar City, New Harmony, the higher elevation of Washington County picking up snow. So we have our alerts in effect right now, and our winter storm warning actually for the southern portion of the state, which you're going to see in pink, that's going to hold on. It's in effect and ends 5 p.m. tomorrow. What you're seeing in purple is that winter weather advisory, and that means that we are looking at accumulating snow that's for the northern and eastern portion of the state. Now, when you talk travel, you kind of have to know a lot of people coming back from the holiday weekend, and we are going to see periods of road snow and road slush. Clear that for you. Where you're seeing in red, that's where we're going to see road snow. It includes through Castle Country, the Basin, and all mountain routes. In yellow, road slush, and that's most of the state as this wet weather will continue through our Tuesday. How much snow is headed your way? Answers coming up in my full forecast in just a few moments. Glenn, Emily, back to you.
Thanks so much, Alana. I appreciate that. As millions of Americans take the day off to celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. Day, many Utahns are coming together all across the state to amplify the message Dr. King shared decades ago.
Yes, ABC4's reporter Kate Garner joining us to give us a look at a few of those messages. Kate.
So let's stand together, let's fight together, and we can make those wrongs right.
40 years ago, President Ronald Reagan signed Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day into law as a federal holiday, 15 years after Dr. King's assassination. Today, Utahns are still fighting to realize Dr. King's dream.
So it's important that we're working on housing, education, employment, criminal justice systems. That work is still relevant, important, and not to do it is impacting families and communities in a negative way.
Ogden NAACP President Betty Sawyer is one of many taking time out of her day to remember Dr. King and spread a message of equality.
And to respect each other. We're all human beings. We all bleed red. We all bleed red.
A message of self-awareness.
We may not be able to change everything, but we can at least change ourselves. Change starts with you.
A message of representative government.
We live together, we work together, and in order for us to, enact laws that are going to help all of us, we have to do that together.
A message of unity.
We're better together, but we actually need to do that. Do better, live better, be better, and we can do that.
Each of us has an opportunity every day to really choose love over hate.
And a message of human connection.
Small acts of kindness, little random acts of kindness is really what we're trying to get people to consider. And not only that, but obviously the big opportunities as well.
And so as we do these marches, we reconnect with people, we invite them to sit down with us and to work with us. And that's why we have to continue to celebrate and commemorate.
If you didn't get a chance to celebrate today, the University of Utah is hosting events all week long to commemorate and further the legacy of Dr. King. For more information, visit our website at abc4.com. Reporting in Salt Lake City, Cade Garner, ABC4 News.
All right, we thank you, Cade. Well, some middle school students who had the day off got to celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. Day at the Vivint Arena. Utah Jazz teaming up with the state's Martin Luther King Jr. Human Rights Commission to put on the event. Students took part in MLK-themed coding workshops that followed teachings of Martin Luther King Jr. like social change, nonviolence, and justice. We spoke with someone behind the activity who says it's relevant to all parts of life.
Engineering allows you to have a broad way of thinking, and that's part of life. You can apply it in anything, and you can apply it in politics. Thinking is really the foundation of what we do as human beings.
You can say that again. Well, after the coding activity, students took part in a basketball clinic that you're seeing here right on the Utah Jazz home court.
One woman is dead, 2 others in the hospital after a vehicle crashes into a building in Tooele. Police say this all happening at Ensign Engineering and Land Survey. That's just off North Main Street, and it happened before noon. They say a minivan crashed through the wall, hitting a woman and then ramming a cinder block wall at the back of the building. That woman died on the scene. Another man who worked there was taken to the hospital but is expected to recover. The man driving also taken to the hospital. Now at this time, police are not sure what caused this accident.
And a deadly crash on Mountain View Corridor in West Valley City is shutting down part of the highway there. Investigators saying a semi-truck and an SUV crashed at 35th South. The semi rolled, spilling diesel fuel on the road. Police say the driver of the semi died. The driver of the SUV was taken to the hospital. Police saying that intersection will be closed for most of the day while that cleanup is underway for the fuel spill.
We have several thousand gallons of diesel fuel that have spilled from the tank, and we have hazardous materials handling teams here to try to mitigate the spill. It's going to take a long time.
Police are advising people to stay away from the area as they clean up and investigate the cause of the crash.
Turning out to politics tonight, the state legislature set to convene tomorrow to kick off the 2023 legislative session. Over the next 45 days, our representatives and senators will tackle the big issues from government spending to education and many others. ABC4's Annika Johns live on Utah's Capitol Hill tonight, breaking down a bill aimed at preventing opioid overdoses. Annika.
That's right, Glenn. So according to the Utah Department of Health, fentanyl-related deaths have continued to rise in recent years. One way they say we can help prevent that rise is to use a low-cost fentanyl strip test to help determine how much, if any, fentanyl is in a drug. However, these kind of strips are currently against Utah law. Now, one of the most dangerous things about fentanyl is that drug users don't always know when they're going to be using it. Police here in Utah and across the country have reported finding fentanyl laced into other illegal drugs or pressed into drugs that look like something else. For habitual drug users, there's no way to know without testing their supply. The current state statute classifies drug paraphernalia as testing equipment used or intended for use to identify or analyze the strength, effectiveness, or purity of a controlled substance. And fentanyl test strips fall into that definition. Senate Bill 86.
Some people claim that needle exchanges and fentanyl test strips encourage continued drug use. And we would maintain that it simply keeps people alive.
This change will be one of the many bills discussed tomorrow when the general session begins. We'll continue to cover this bill and other high-profile changes as the general session continues. Reporting live from the Utah State Capitol, Annika Johns, ABC4 News.
Thank you, Annika. Turning now to southern Utah and Utah's drought situation. Even with our incredible start to the winter season, Utah continues to see drought conditions statewide.
Yes, our reservoirs have been hit very hard in recent drought years, Lake Powell in particular. ABC4's Nate Larson has new information on improvements to the dam that guarantee nearby communities will have access to water as levels, even as they continue to drop.
Lake Powell has been steadily declining for the last 23 years due to high water use and extended drought. The lake is just sitting at 22% capacity right now and is down 11 feet from where we were this time last year. It's forecast to continue to fall through the end of the month and could potentially threaten water supply lines for surrounding communities.
Lake Powell is 177 feet down from full and just 33 feet shy of power pool depth. This means the dam would no longer be able to produce power. If the lake dropped to power pool levels, local communities would lose access to water as well.
We had the Bureau reach out to us, and unbeknownst to us, they had been looking at how they could help the drought situation.
The Bureau of Reclamation had a proposal that would add additional access for Page's municipal water system to the lowermost points of the dam.
So we met with them and they made the presentation about how they wanted to rework the plumbing within the dam to allow greater depth for the city water supply by tapping into other pipes lower in the system and then plumbing it right back to where the city's normal water pickup would be.
It turned out to be the right solution for the city of Page.
We thought that would be fantastic, because that would guarantee our depth, and we wouldn't have to worry about the drought so much. Still have to worry about it, but it is gives us some comfort room.
Work on the project began in September and was just completed last month. The supplies and labor costs were all covered by the city of Page.
The new access point gives the city about a 100-foot buffer from their previous location. Mayor Dyack says that with the great snowpack we've had so far this season and hopefully states using less water from the Colorado River moving forward, they shouldn't have to use that new valve that's been placed. Nate Larson, ABC4 News, back to you.
All right, thank you, Nate. Still ahead, a plane crash in Nepal killing dozens shortly before it was supposed to land. What investigators have found that will hopefully shed light on what happened.
And there's that live look at Lehigh. Wet roads out there. Utah County has seen rain. They've seen a little snow and they've seen periods of dry. This next storm that's impacting us right now holds on. I'll tell you for how long and when to expect valley rain to switch to snow in Utah's most accurate forecast.